Hi again. Today I'm coming on to show you what I'm making for dinner tonight. I'm gonna go with some chicken fajitas, and today I'm using chicken breast. You could also use boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which I do use sometimes. Sometimes I mix chicken breast and thighs, or just do chicken breast or just the skinless, boneless chicken thighs. Either way works. And today I'll be using like I said, just a chicken breast. I have some seasonings for the chicken. You'll need some bell peppers. I have 3 different colors here. A couple Roma tomatoes, an onion, and some garlic. Sometimes I use whole garlic. Sometimes I'll use just garlic powder if that's all I have on hand. Today I happen to have some frozen crushed garlic, so that's what I'll be using today. Okay, so far I've got my onions sliced, about that thick. I've got my yellow peppers, my green peppers. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up this red pepper. This is how I cut. I find this way is the easiest way to cut peppers. I just kind of cut around the core and try to leave out as much as that inside part off as possible. And I'll go ahead and cut them to about 1/2 inch thickness and slices. And I'll go ahead and add this to my plate of peppers here. And as you can see, I've already cut up my Roma tomato, and I've separated a little bit of the onion and left it out so I could add this to my chicken. I find that when I use chicken breast, it can be a little dry. So I know most of the time you don't find tomato in chicken fajitas, but because I'm using chicken breast, it can tend to dry out a little bit. So I find if I put a little bit of tomato in there, it kind of keeps it a little more moist. So I have my peppers ready, my onion, and my tomato. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the chicken next. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my chicken breast. I have 1 whole chicken breast here. I'm gonna go ahead and butterfly it or cut it down the middle so that it's a little thinner. Sometimes you can buy chicken breasts already thinned out, but I don't have that kind today, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut mine into strips. And I cut them to about this thickness. I don't know, it's about half an inch thick, 3/4 of an inch thick. I'm not really sure, but that's about the thickness that I like to keep them at. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with all of the chicken breasts that I have. And then we'll go in and season those up next. So now that I've cut up all of my chicken breasts, I'm ready to cook up my peppers and onions. I'm gonna put in about a tablespoon of olive oil into this pan that I have heating on medium-high heat. So just a little bit of olive oil. Let that heat up for a second. And I will go ahead with my onions and peppers. I'm gonna let those cook up for a couple of minutes. I don't want them too soft, so I'll probably just cook them for about 2 minutes. And salt and pepper them. Maybe a little bit of garlic powder, but you can season them however you like. And I'll be back to show you once they're done. gonna say that these are done now. I've literally had them on this pan heating on medium high for about 2 minutes exactly. I did add salt and I added pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and as you can see, the onions are just slightly softened, but the peppers still have a nice texture to them. They're not soft. They're not too soft. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them off. Go ahead and take them off and set them to the side now. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna use to season up my chicken is, usually I'll use lime. I don't have any today, but I have half a lemon that I'm gonna use, and I'll go ahead and squeeze that over the chicken. Helps to tenderize it and give it a little bit of acidity as well. Gonna add salt. Some freshly ground pepper. I do like to add a little bit of all-purpose seasoning like Lawry's or Johnny's. I have Johnny's today. So I'll go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that in there. And of course you can use any seasonings that you have on hand and seasonings that you like to use in your cooking. I have some onion powder. Garlic powder. A little bit of chili powder. And I just eyeball it usually. I don't have exact measurements. You can use however much you like. If you like it smokier, you can add more. If you like it less, of course add less or leave it out. Ground cumin. Then I'll take my tongs and mix all of that together. I have my pan, the same pan that I use to cook my peppers in. So now that I have my chicken breast seasoned and mixed, I tried my best to mix in all the seasonings so that they're coated evenly. I have the same pan that I use to cook my peppers. I have it heating up on medium-high heat. I'm gonna add in a little bit of olive oil once again and get my chicken cooking. So I've added a couple of tablespoons of olive oil to my pan. This is the same pan that I used to heat up my peppers, like I said. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my chicken and let that cook. I might stir it a couple of times, but I'm gonna let it cook anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes before adding in the peppers and the onions. And I'll show you at what point I add in my tomato and onion in as well. Okay, so now that my chicken is in my pan, it's been there for about 1 minute. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little mix, a little toss. And as you can see, it's got great color on it. I'll kind of turn it so that the other side can cook up as well. And I'll let that cook for another minute or so before I add in my cut up Roma tomato and a little bit of onion that I set to the side. Forgot to mention that I am going to add in a couple of cloves of crushed garlic. And if you have whole garlic, you can chop that up and add that in there at this time. Okay, so now my chicken has been cooking for about 10 minutes. It's completely cooked. It's actually very tender. The tomato, it has pretty much melted down into the chicken. The onions are soft. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my peppers and onions. And give that a mix into the chicken. I'll probably leave it on the heat for a minute or two just to get the flavors to combine, the chicken with the peppers and the onions. And at that point, these are ready to serve. Now we're ready for the most important part. We're gonna go ahead and give this a try. I've made it at least 100 times already. My family likes it, my kids like it, my husband, it's a staple here at our house. So let's give it a try. I paired it with some freshly made pinto beans and some white rice. That is tasty. Go ahead and give this a try, and hopefully it'll become a staple at your house too. See you next time. Bye-bye.